Well, if you have kids, you may have noticed some new lingo.
All right, but do you have any idea what they're actually saying? Fox 5's Audrey Puente is here to give us a lesson in Gen Z slang.
Skrilla tracks 6'7" didn't just go viral. It blew the whole internet open.
Concerned about the kids riding those electric bikes around the neighborhood yelling 6'7". No one knows what it means.
Kids were yelling 6'7" so much that some schools straight up banned the phrase because it was everywhere and turning into chaos.
You started. 6'7".
Love to learn about, like, you know, the religion and the background of everything.
Sure, not a problem. Follow me. This is an ancient religion. It comes from Africa.
Do you want to show them anything and just give them kind of a basic understanding of things?
Well, like I said earlier, this is El Igual, the path opener.
But this trend ain't just some cute, catchy moment. Behind it sits a wild, dark story that most of the people screaming the lyrics don't even realize exists. 6'7" turned TikTok upside down and shot Skrilla into superstar territory overnight. 1 minute, he was another rapper trying to get noticed. The next minute, he was charting, trending, and getting stitched into every other video.
I'm about to take y'all in my godfather crib so he can show y'all some shit with my religion.
Josie, he's the hunter of the religion. That one is Chango, the Lord of Thunder. This is Ochu, Odudua.
How much does these figures mean to you guys?
Well, to me, they mean the world. They mean everything to me, because I can make anything possible with them. Without them, I can't make nothing happen.
But the messed up part is that most folks yelling 6'7" have no clue about the intense spiritual world Skrilla has been diving into for years. Skrilla follows Santeria, and he's been openly talking about animal sacrifices and throwing curses for the longest. He even pulled YouTuber Brenda Buckingham to his godfather's spot so they could explain the gods they praise and the rituals they practice. Skrilla literally walked in saying, "Here you go, my godfather right here," like it was nothing, even though the whole vibe felt like something out of a documentary that people whisper about behind closed doors.
Satan.
Fuck no, though. But I like when they talk, you know what I'm saying? They got their own little question mark on my head for real about that shit though, for real though. But I just let them think what they want to think though, because I'm like a unorthodox person for real because of that type shit.
According to sources, 6'7" is actually tied to two gods named Ogun and Yamaya, who Skrilla supposedly gives offerings to. And this isn't some new story either. He's been dropping hints for years in his music. On his track Stash Box, he spit lines like, "Tap that button, go erase some bro, smoking ops. He got lace blunts, haven't talked to my Orisha till my day come. I know Agon Re and Resurrect Me ain't nothing." Then on Words from Ocean, he rapped, "Bitch, I ain't scared of nothing. Bitch, I'm the weatherman. I make it snow like Jeezy."
And he made a video like the song. I was gonna hop on that joint and all that. He said he was gonna put me on and all that, but I was out Egypt. I'm out Egypt buying a house. You feel me? Like I'm out Egypt buying a house.
People thought he was just flexing, but he was referencing another deity from the same belief system, sliding spiritual talk right into mainstream music like it was no big deal. This whole story is way deeper than a viral hook, and the more you dig, the stranger it gets. When Skrilla dropped that line, "Bitch, if I'm going to die, then I'm gonna die." Huh? Because I know soon, not a lot, he wasn't just trying to sound tough. He was
like
You influence him?
everybody, like that's my man. Like, we went song for song. He gave me a verse. I owe him a verse right now. I owe Skrilla a verse right now. I'm gonna get that done soon, but I owe Skrilla a verse or whatever. But he been saying 6'7". Like he got a song with G Herbo saying that shit and all. Like he been saying that shit.
was tapping into something way deeper. But we're not using that language here, so let's keep it clean while still keeping the heat. That whole bar had people stunned because Skrilla wasn't just rapping. He was basically revealing how locked into his beliefs he really is.
That's my real life, though. That's my real life. That's a real life shit. That's a sacrifice. That's a sacrifice for what I want.
What did you sacrifice to go ahead for?
I can't talk about that shit too much, though.
Blessings.
Yeah, blessings.
Then on Shoestrings, he took things even further and started speaking on doing sacrifices like it's just another day in the studio. He said, "And then I done made some sacrifices, kill a goat, wash away the sins, having talkings with Babalao, he telling me I'm gonna live a while." When he said 6'7", a lot of people believe he wasn't just hyping up a hook. He was allegedly using it like a ritual chant meant to put a curse on his enemies. And here's where it gets wild. Some folks claim that anyone saying 6'7" might be unknowingly participating in the same chant without realizing what they're repeating.
7, that's where all my young boys, like that's where my young boys from. You ever heard of Duty Baby?
Duty Baby. Hey, how's he doing?
Yeah, you probably haven't heard of him. He an upcoming artist though.
That's why it's crazy that most kids only know the 6-7 part, even though the rest of the bar is way darker than they think. Now, Skrilla was also talking about taking out his rivals when he spit. Shaw Zone, I'm bull with the glasses, bro, sayer. Because see a savage, so many dead ops, so many ashes. You ain't catch that? I can't pass this shooter, stay straps. I don't need mine, bro. Put belt right to their B-hunt. The way that switch, I know he dying. 6-7, I just buy right on the highway. Those lines weren't playful. They were straight up graphic, and fans couldn't believe how intense the imagery was. Some people online think Skrilla purposely made 6-7 catchy so young folks would repeat it, turning his song into a chant without them even understanding what it meant. That's why he even slid in that Baby Shark bar saying, "Dump truck, Baby Shark do-do-do, I pop the park and pop the blue." It felt like he mixed kid-friendly references with grown-up themes in a way that had the internet raising eyebrows. On top of all that, rumors started spreading that Skrilla might be involved with darker spiritual practices, and some even accused him of trying to lead other people into the same path. Folks have been debating whether it's all artistic expression or something way more serious, and the conversation just keeps getting louder. Skrilla told Brandon Buckingham he doesn't worship anything evil, but plenty of people online swear he's not being fully honest. They think he's straight up capping and secretly getting folks to chant 6-7 for something dark without even realizing it. The internet ran wild with that theory, and once it caught traction, people wouldn't let it go. The whole 6-7 wave exploded just a couple weeks after the track dropped. At first, it was just edits of NBA players flying across social media, simple highlight clips with the song in the background. But then everything shifted when a high school hooper named Talon TK Kenny said the phrase while rating a Starbucks drink, and boom, it went super viral. Overnight, he became the face of the trend. They're calling TK Mr. 6-7 now, and he even launched a canned water brand called 6-7 Water. That's how huge this trend got, folks turning a lyric into a business move. And it didn't stop there. Washed-up pop stars started hopping on the wave trying to get a little shine off Skrilla's moment. Natasha Bedingfield, an early 2000s singer who had hits like Pocket Full of Sunshine, brought Skrilla on stage at her Philly show just so she could perform Duke Duke 6-7 in front of her crowd. Even Kim Kardashian jumped in and cracked a joke about 6-7 on TV, trying to grab her piece of the hype. That's how you know the wave went mainstream, when people who weren't even part of hip-hop start sliding in trying to stay relevant. Some fans swear Skrilla's chant actually worked because his career is blasting off in every direction. But behind all the talk about rituals and rumors, there's something way more dangerous connected to this track. A real active gang conflict tied to the meaning of 6-7. That's the part the internet doesn't want to talk about, but the streets definitely do. There are all kinds of theories floating around. Some folks believe 6-7 refers to the police radio code 1067, which means someone lost their life. And with everything happening around Skrilla, people think that might be the real reason the track hit so hard. The real story behind 6-7 is way more tangled than people think, because Skrilla didn't invent it at all. He actually grabbed it from a real crew in Philly. In an interview, Skrilla said 6-7 was a spot in the city where some of his people came from, including a dude named Duty Baby. But the streets say the truth is way more complicated than that. Duty Baby has been making music here and there, but let's be real. Most folks know him more for the reckless street trouble he got tied into, not his tracks. Rumors around Philly say he was involved in serious conflicts with rival crews, including a group connected to someone known as H.L. Osama. Duty Baby used to claim a crew called CCK, but he wasn't actually from the real 6-7 area the way people assume. Skrilla mentioning him was more like a distraction, a way to redirect attention from the actual 6-7 group. The authentic 6-7 set also goes by YSN, and one of their members, YSNO, has been repping 6-7 in his music way before Skrilla ever touched the phrase. O even dropped a track where he rapped 6-7-6-7 green light, and his brother died, he ain't lie. That can't be me. That dude soft. That dude never slide. Not in them cars, that boy a rookie. 6-7-6-7-6-7. YSN has been using that chant for years, and it comes from real street history, not a TikTok trend. There's been real violence tied to that name, something most of the world had no idea about when they started repeating 6-7 online. Once Skrilla's track went global, YSNO changed his IG bio to The Real 6-7, making it clear he wasn't letting anyone take their identity without calling it out. YSN has had ongoing issues with different crews across Southwest Philly, and things turned tragic back in 2022. Reports say they lost 2 members during a robbery that went wrong, and that situation sparked even more tension in the neighborhood. This wasn't some small-time scuffle. This was real street pressure that people outside Philly had no clue was connected to the viral phrase they were casually shouting into their phones. The deeper you look, the more it becomes clear that 6-7 isn't just a catchy hook. It's tied to real people, real history, and real danger. The story gets even wilder when you look at the situation with YSN Penny and Days, because the streets say they tried to sneak behind their own homie Banzo, who reps a crew called Sevenfo. Word is that Banzo allegedly had around 50,000 sitting in his crib, and Penny and Days tried to run off with it. Nobody knows the exact play-by-play of how things went left, but all anyone knows is shots went off, and both Penny and Days ended up hit. When police pulled up, one of them was already gone from a close-range head wound, and the other passed later that night in the ICU. Just a couple weeks after the situation, Banzo decided he wasn't holding his tongue and aired out the whole situation on his track 2 drop, rapping, "Had the drop. Thank God they ain't have no aim. Slime 7 days straight. I can't say my brother's name." He didn't sugarcoat a thing. Even though Penny and Days were the ones who tried to snake their own homie, some of YSN still felt like they needed to retaliate for them. Banzo also had ties to a crew called Only the Africans, known as OTA, and one of his closest friends was an OTA member named Shaq. Then in June 2024, the streets say YSN allegedly pulled up on Shaq in broad daylight and left him gone right in the road, setting off a whole new level of chaos. People online said YSN's Chucky was the one who pulled the trigger during the Shaq situation, but things took an even more tragic turn because Shaq's little sister was grazed as well. After that, rumors spread fast that OTA put a massive bounty on Chucky, and it didn't take long before someone decided to collect it. By the end of June 2024, somebody reportedly caught Chucky slipping on the street and took him out in a vicious ambush. The word around Philly was that a whole group of shooters, 6 of them, ran down on him at once, and there was no way Chucky was making it out of that situation alive. This wasn't a small hit. This was something people clearly planned. Then it got even darker. Rumors say one of the shooters was a dude from G5 named Jig. Word is Jig allegedly got paid for helping take out Chucky, but not long after, someone caught Jig too, and he ended up gone as well. The whole chain of events turned into a cycle, one person after another, and folks outside Philly had no idea how much real danger sat behind the 6-7 trend they were shouting for fun. Not long after Chucky was taken out, the streets started buzzing heavy because nobody really knew who the other shooters were in that ambush. But once Jig ended up gone too, YSN basically confirmed through their reactions that Jig was definitely involved in the hit on Chucky. The whole thing was allegedly a paid move, but the way it went down made it feel personal too. Those shooters let off around 15 rounds from an AK-47, which shows they weren't playing around at all. Shaq's death clearly meant everything to his side, and rumors say they're still putting major money on anyone connected to YSN. And honestly, YSN has been taking loss after loss since 2022. Things went bad when Penny and Days were gone during that backdoor situation. Then later that same year, YSN Key passed away in a car crash. Key was actually starting to build some buzz in the rap scene, and people thought he might have been the one to take YSN to the next level. Now, the only one really pushing the music for the crew is YSN Booth, but his tracks don't pull big numbers, and online people clown him because he allegedly got robbed by rivals. It's been rough for that whole camp, and folks keep wondering why Skrilla decided to jack the phrase 6-7 and make it into a worldwide anthem when the name comes tied to real street history. Some people think Skrilla might have quiet tension with YSN and was trolling them by turning 6-7 into something global. But then the story flipped again when WNU did an interview with Philly First 48 in May 2025 and actually showed Skrilla love. He said he was supposed to be on the original 6-7 track, but he was out of town buying a house and couldn't make it to the studio. What made everything even more confusing is that Skrilla has never once shouted out YSN in any of his songs or interviews, not even casually. So people keep asking if there's love behind the scenes, or if Skrilla just took the phrase and moved on without acknowledging the crew that built it long before he rapped it. Even when Skrilla tried to talk about the real 6-7 block in Philly, he didn't mention the original crew at all. Instead, he claimed his homie Duty Baby was from that area, even though everybody in the city knew that wasn't true. Folks couldn't figure out why he would even say that, because if Skrilla really wanted to, he could have put YSN on in a major way. But instead, it looked like he was dodging them completely, and nobody knows why he's playing the situation like that. Some people online tried to say Skrilla wasn't really tapped in with the streets and didn't know about the beef connected to the name. But that's not true at all. YBC Dow, the drill rapper who blew up for dissing rivals nonstop, was someone Skrilla was cool with long before Do went viral. Skrilla was so tapped in that he even introduced Dow to Brandon Buckingham during their interview, way before most people knew who Dow was. Skrilla didn't grow up soft. He came up in the trenches of Kensington, one of the wildest spots in Philly. He started hustling out there when he was 12 years old, trying to make money any way he could. He used to play sports too, but he stopped because hustling took over his whole schedule. He ended up catching multiple cases for heroin and other charges, and when he was still a teenager, the court hit him with 2.5 years of house arrest. He had to finish high school from inside his crib, stuck with a monitor on his ankle. Even after he started buzzing in the rap game, he never fully left Kensington. He always popped back out on the block, still staying connected to the same streets he came from. Then in August 2025, Skrilla got booked again, this time for firing a toy gun at a cop while he was out on the block. Even though it wasn't a real weapon, the situation still got him jammed up because of where he was and the energy around him. It showed that no matter how famous he was getting, he was still right there in the middle of Kensington, living the same life he came from. When the cops pulled up that day, Skrilla wasn't even doing anything wild. He was in the middle of shooting a music video, and word is, the whole block was jammed up because they were stopping traffic to get the shots right. Skrilla started messing around with a toy gun on set, firing little gel pellets, and he allegedly hit one of the officers who rolled up to check what was going on. That's the moment everything flipped, and that's why they scooped him up on the spot. Getting arrested over a toy gun sounds wild enough, but then Skrilla found out they actually hit him with assault on a police officer. Even the streets were shocked, because that's a heavy charge for a plastic gun that shoots tiny pellets. Folks are saying those charges probably won't hold up in court. But either way, it doesn't look like anything is slowing Skrilla down. Not even close. Next, he's been loud and clear that he's going to keep standing on what he believes in, keep doing his rituals and sacrifices, and keep moving how he wants, no matter what the internet says or how many rumors get thrown around. Skrilla's not backing down from anything, but now I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about Skrilla getting booked over a toy gun? And do you think these charges are going to stick or get tossed? Drop a comment, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. It's about to get even messier.